Hello everybody and welcome to my video. Tonight I am going to be doing a horoscope tarot reading for Pisceans for the month of June. I apologise I didn't do the full horoscope last month. The reason being I wasn't really happy with how it was going with the technology, and I've purchased some new technology and that was supposed to be plug and play, and as always it wasn't, especially for somebody of my generation. So it's taken me quite a while to figure out how to get it all working and set up as I like it, and there's been some technical issues, so I feel I've finally got it sorted out. Funnily enough, I think I was overcomplicating things, and it was actually a tarot reading that told me that, and to not overthink things or overcomplicate things and just to get on and do it. So I'm going to be doing it this way because it's simpler. I'm pre-recording this one because I'm doing something in a different way, and I'm not entirely sure how well it's going to go. If you see this, if this does get uploaded onto my YouTube channel, then it's gone well, and if not, it doesn't matter anyway, you won't see it. And the way I'm going to be doing it is because the tarot deck I was using is very much into personal development of our own consciousness and our self-awareness. And I thought that is great for people who understand those concepts and are on that path. But I wanted these tarot readings to be open to anybody who would like to view them. And so what I decided to do was purchased another tarot deck, and it's a very simple one, and it's this one here, and it's simply this tarot deck is a more traditional one, and my idea was that it would give some more guidance on the specific areas of our mundane lives that the cards of the Dreams of Gaia tarot were indicating that our concentration needed to be upon each week of the next month. So I'm still going to be using the Dreams of Gaia tarot, but I'm also going to be using the Arts of Tarot traditional tarot deck, and I'm also still going to be using the Oracle deck as well to give even more enlightenment and guidance. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I am quite a new tarot reader, so I don't know all the meanings of by heart. I do use my intuitive sense to give me an indication of exactly where the meanings apply, and also open myself up for any further information that comes through. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw the Oracle card. Now remember, this is for Pisces for the month of June. Very quick. The Oracle card that's been drawn is Seek Your Answers Within. The next ones I'm going to draw are the Dreams of Gaia tarot. I aim to draw 4, even though there's slightly longer than 4 weeks in the month, but it'll be roughly for each of the 4 main weeks of the month, but obviously there'll be overlap before and afterwards. cards that have been drawn. The first one is the 11 of water. The second one is the healing card. Third one is 7 water. And then the 10 of earth. So now I'm going to draw the traditional deck, and I'm going to draw one card to go with each of these Dreams of Kaya cards. Okay. In this deck, we've got 14 of Pentacles to go with the 11 of water. We've got the Pentacles is upside down. We've got the Hanged Man to go with healing. We've got the reversed Knight of Cups to go with 7 of water, and the reversed Ace of Cups to go with the 10 of earth. Bear with me while I have a sip of my kombucha. So the Oracle card is Seek Your Answers Within. These are quite self-explanatory. In case there's any further insight. Okay, the Oracle card is indicating that there's some confusion, and it's internal confusion this month. And the advice is to stop listening to other people, to seek the answers within yourself, within your own inner being, because only there will you find the true answers this month. So the first of a traditional tarot is actually Temperance. I looked at it too quickly. Okay. To match that one, it is the 11 of water. Okay, together, what I'm getting for the first week of this month with these two cards is an overall imbalance, which is leading to confusion. This could indicate a financial issue. If it does indicate a financial issue, then that will be a result of most likely bad financial management, either by yourself or others. If it's not a financial issue, then there is an imbalance in another aspect of your life. This is causing confusion and suppressed emotions on your part. The advice is to be mindful of your emotions in this week and how your emotions are affecting your behavior. Disharmony within yourself in your emotional state, as well as the emotional state of those around you in the relationships that are key in your life, can lead to disease and ill health. Stress is never a good thing for anybody. If you find your emotions becoming dominant and it's difficult to control them, you're advised to seek a more productive means of settling any disharmony and a more productive means of releasing those emotions so they don't cause more disruption to your life than is necessary. Don't bottle your emotions up, however, because that can be as bad for you as releasing them in too volatile a manner. So although these cards together can indicate a financial disharmony within your life, primarily they are concerning for all Pisceans an emotional issue in this first week. So the overall advice is that don't suppress your emotions. They must be released. However, how they are released is very important. Be mindful of the effect of your emotions on others around you. Be mindful of how your emotions can affect the minds and emotions of others and therefore lead to stress within your home or your workplace or your place of education, and how that can have a knock-on effect to many other people. There is an element of fear about something in the past that may be preventing you from being mindful at this time. Perhaps you have been too volatile in the past and you have learnt that it is easier to suppress your emotions. However, often when we seek answers from past experiences, we can often go too far with those answers. So for example, if you have been very emotional in the past and that has been very destructive to yourself and others, that can lead you to overly suppress your emotions now. It's not about not showing your emotions, it's about how you show them and whether or not you allow them to dominate your behavior or not. This is part of becoming more self-aware. Experience your emotions, allow them to flow through you, but also keep part of yourself detached from them so that they're not going to be driving you. Okay. Okay, so the next week we've got the Hanged Man. And healing. Okay, so this is a continuation of the issue affecting you in the first week, which was predominantly your suppressed emotions. Both sets of cards are bringing up something to do with the past. That either there has been an issue in the past that is affecting your behavior in a negative manner today, or there are past issues within a relationship or of some kind in which you are involved, which is affecting your present. In the second week, the traditional tarot is bringing up that there may be conflict in store. This conflict is a result of a refusal of somebody to change or examine their attitudes or their true attitudes. Materialism is indicated, which goes back to the financial aspect of the first card. So again, this may be a continuation and a situation from an unresolved financial problem. It is definitely something to do with a physical aspect of your life. It could be property, it could be a career, but it's definitely something connected to money or materialistic items in your life. An issue that is causing an emotional issue for yourself. This ties in with the Oracle card because the advice here is that you need to safely navigate with the least repercussions for yourself here and the best possible outcome. You need to be listening to your intuitive sense. You need to be listening to the guidance within, especially guidance in how you approach this issue. Forgiveness, the need for forgiveness is also indicated here. Now, this could be forgiveness of yourself. Is it your actions in the past that have created this problem? Have you been suppressing this and hiding this for some time and now it's rearing its ugly head in your life? Or is it forgiveness for somebody else, for their actions or inactions that have resulted in this issue that is raising its head at this time? Either way, you need to forgive. Some would say forgiving somebody else, especially if it's a loved one, is much easier than forgiving yourself. But you can't really forgive others unless you have learnt to forgive yourself as well. Don't allow actions from the past to cause greater issues for you now than they need to. As long as you or somebody else has learnt from that past experience, and as long as they and you are being honest with yourself and the other parties involved, then you can forgive. Don't dwell on what has happened in the past. Let it go, is what it's saying. Start thinking about the future and how to navigate out of this situation that you are in. It's very easy to beat yourself over the head if you've made a mistake. Say, for example, have you overspent? Have you made poor financial decisions? Have you been too impulsive? But let it go. Forgive yourself. You're only human. And if it's somebody else in your life that has made these mistakes, they too are only human. And part of being human is about making mistakes. Don't allow any pain you are feeling as a result of this to hurt others. That may give you temporary relief to lash out, but you are going to be feeling the guilt of that afterwards. So by hurting somebody else, you are going to be hurting yourself. This goes back to the first week's advice about suppressing your emotions and expressing them in a way that is going to cause the least amount of damage to yourself and others. Being more mindful of how your emotions affect your behavior, even down to how you talk and how you speak to others. 80% of our communication is non-verbal. We communicate largely by body language. But even with our voice, you can sense somebody's emotional state and their true feelings with just the tone of voice and their choice of words and how they say them. Especially if it's a loved one, somebody you know well. So ensure that you're always honest, but practice being more mindful of your own emotions. If you cannot communicate in a way that is not going to cause harm and pain to somebody else, my advice is simply to distance yourself away, go somewhere quiet, alone, take 10 deep breaths through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, visualize all that suppressed emotion simply draining out of you. Once you feel calmer, your heart rate is slowed, then and only then return to the situation. The healing card here indicates that this is an opportunity for you to heal a wound inside of you that has been festering for some time. Perhaps this is to do with your relationship with another, and this situation may become the proverbial volcano that could go off, which could be catastrophic. Doesn't have to be that way. If you are mindful of your own emotions and where those emotions are coming from, then you can relieve the pressure in a calm and controlled way. That this could therefore be an opportunity, a great opportunity for healing for you. This card is also indicating that all of this suppressed emotion and issues which are relating to your past is maybe causing you ill health in the present. Do you have a chronic condition that you are dealing with? Do you have a recurrent condition that you are dealing with? If so, be aware that our thoughts and our emotions affect our physical bodies in profound ways. Emotional trauma can be expressed as a physical trauma. By dealing with your emotional past and how you express emotions today, or if you don't express them at all, not only can this be a healing opportunity for you emotionally and spiritually, but also physically as well. However, be aware that this month may result in an expression on a physical level of any emotional disharmony and imbalances in your life. Don't procrastinate if that's the case. Seek medical advice. Okay. The third week. So this is the Knight of Cups reversed. Cups is about money. And then the card to go with it is the Seven of Water. Okay, so these cards together indicate that there will be resolution here for you in this week of the issues that have been presented to you in the first week, how you've reacted to them in the second week, and then what's going to occur in the third week. Now, the Knight of Cups indicates that there may be somebody involved in this situation who is superficial and ultimately untrustworthy, probably with money. Now, this could be yourself. Is this a time when you're going to realize you really aren't capable of managing the finances? Perhaps it'll be you that lets you down. But it could be somebody else. It could also not be a person. It could be a project. It could be something, as long as it is something relating to finances here. This is going to lead you to disappointment. The Dreams of Gaia Tarot card is indicating and advising you that in this week that that's okay. We don't always get what we want in life, but we get what we need. Perhaps what we need is to learn a lesson. Perhaps what we need is to let something go. Perhaps what we need is to forgive. Whatever the case may be, your advice in this week is simply to surrender to the flow of life. Whatever happens is meant to happen, and there's always a good reason for that to happen. You don't need to control everything. Control is an illusion anyway. Whatever does happen in this third week, don't allow it to be another stick with which to beat yourself or somebody else up with. Again, be mindful of the previous advice about the need for forgiveness here, the need for compassion and empathy, and the need to understand that we're all just human beings and we're all different. There's a gentle reminder here as well to have a gentler approach to the situation, to not allow anger to overwhelm you, to not allow your disappointment to overwhelm you. We often get better results if we involve temperance in how we behave and how we approach life. The Seven of Water is definitely talking about control, so I will bring it up again. This indicates that there's somebody who is really controlling in this situation. Now, this could be you, or it could be somebody else. Or it could simply be that perhaps a business affair, a project that you are involved in or trying to develop is beginning to control your life. This can be very damaging. If it's yourself, be mindful of how you are behaving. Are you overly controlling? Control can be very effective if it's done emotionally, if it's done using guilt and shame. It can also be equally effective when it is more overt, when it is more obvious and domineering. Either way, it's going to be negative on yourself as well as those around you, regardless of who is the controlling aspect here. We all have choices and we all have the ability to control our behavior. We all have the choice to make in how we treat ourselves and others around us. This card is definitely indicating that you need to detach emotionally somewhat from the situation this week. Don't worry about the future in this week. Don't worry about what ifs, what may come. As the card is indicating, surrender to the flow of a life and allow what is to be. The only person you can have any control over really is yourself and how you behave. Your future is now in the hands of fate, is the last message of these cards. So on to the final week. We have the Ace of Cups. Okay. The culmination of this month is after this situation has reared its ugly head, after you have responded in a mindful manner, aware of how your emotions and how you behave affects others around you. And then in the third week, undergoing a disappointment by the behavior of either yourself or by somebody else, or something in your life that is connected to finances. The final week of the month is the period after the storm, as it were. There's going to be a risk here that you may worry too much about the future, about your family, about home life as a result of what has gone on in previous part of the month. The card specifically mentions fears about family or problems concerning children. So a child in your life, maybe your physical children, maybe younger family members, perhaps somebody who you behave towards or feel towards as if they were a child or dependent upon you. It indicates that there's a risk with this last week that you may respond to this entire situation by losing faith. That could be faith in yourself. It could be faith in a relationship. It could be faith in the world itself. It's indicating that you may need emotional support this week from others around you. If that's true, then seek it out. Find somebody who is going to be able to help balance you again, to bring you back in alignment emotionally. Somebody who can help you perceive the situation from a different perspective, perhaps. Authenticity here is required. The removal of any masks in place and being honest with yourself and with others. Now this goes back to the first week's cards, where honesty and integrity were strongly indicated here. That tells me that those two aspects are required really all of this month. Honesty and integrity. Have you done everything you possibly could have done this month in order to steer through this storm? If you have, you have nothing to beat yourself up about. You have done everything you can, everything you reasonably could have been expected to do in order to help navigate everybody to the best possible situation at the end of the month. Don't allow fear for yourself, for others, fear for the future to dominate you here. Remember the advice of the first week. What will be is meant to be. We don't always all get what we want in life, but we do get what we need. Sometimes what we need is painful. Sometimes what we need is challenging. But it is what we need. Everything we experience, and most especially the painful experiences in life, help us grow. They help us develop. They help us gain wisdom. How would we understand love if we never experienced hate? How would we know to be joyful when we are feeling happy if we never experienced depression? The key is to have a balance, to not allow fear to dominate you, but also to not allow love to dominate you. We need both in our lives, but we need them in balance. And the only way to do that is for you to be aware of your emotions and how they are affecting you and your behavior, and therefore affecting others. If you're unsure why you're feeling the way you're feeling, look to your past. Look to how things happened some in your past and how that has taught you how to behave today. Sometimes those lessons teach us to behave in ways that really aren't the best way. Sometimes we have to revise those lessons and overturn them. Either way, this situation that this spread is talking about is going to be resolved this month. Overall, this is going to be a very challenging month for Pisceans emotionally. Emotions and finances are strongly indicated all through the month. The overall advice is that to seek your answers within. To be very mindful of how you and others are behaving this month. Sometimes when emotions are heightened, it's others who can behave in ways that be very hurtful to us. But remember, they're only human and they may not be as capable of you as you are in managing your emotions and your behavior. Words can cut, but it's up to us whether we allow them to cut us. Use your wisdom to help guide your family through these waters this month. Be aware of your own behaviors. But know that by the end of this month, this situation will have resolved in one way or the other. That doesn't mean it's not going to continue impacting you and your family for months to come, but this month will be the most challenging. Well, however this situation resolves by the end of a month, it is as it was meant to be for everybody involved. Trust that that is the case. Have faith. And that's the end of the reading. There's nothing else there. Okay. Well, I'm quite pleased with how that went. I think the two tarot decks really did marry well. And I think they really did help to clarify what is going to be going on for Pisceans this month. If you're a Piscean, I hope that this is very helpful to you. Remember, the lessons learned this month are going to be difficult, but they are going to be needed. And they are going to help everybody grow, but especially yourself. And thank you very much for tuning in. Please, if you enjoyed this reading, please like the video. I'd be honoured if you would consider subscribing to the channel. If you do, please click on the bell so that you get notifications in future. And I would be doubly honoured if you would share it on social media. And of course, leave comments. I really do appreciate the comments. My email address is in the About section, so you can always contact me if you like. If you wish to join a Discord chat forum that I'm a member of, where many of us have practiced divination, such as tarot, and we practice there, then drop me an email in the About section on the channel, and I'll drop you an invite there as well. It's free. Anyone can join. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. And the next one I will do live.